Alright, so in this video, let's go ahead and make this cute little orange robot. So to start, I'm just going to grab a cube and center the cube. I'm just holding down the X key and just snapping it to the grid. I'm going to scale it to get kind of a base shape of what I want the robot to look like. Then I'm just going to select all the edges and just bevel them and add 4 segments to make the corners a little bit round. Next, I'm going to make the screen. And before I make the screen, I actually insert more edge loops to give the shape a little more round look, so it's not so perfectly flat. And as you can see, I used the multiple edge insert and just added 3 loops. So before I changed the shape, I actually cut out the screen by using the knife tool because I really wanted the screen to have rounded edges. Then just simply selecting the part of the mesh that is going to be the screen, and here I just switched to the global transformation tools instead of the local ones and just simply pull it out. Then switch to scale, but here I'm not happy with the scale because it's being deformed, so again I turn off the symmetry and reset my transformation tools to make sure that they stay world view instead of local. So that's why I keep jumping between the transformation tools and just extruding the screen. Alright, here I just turned on the wireframe so I can see my topology, and then pressed 3 on the keyboard to make the preview of the mesh smooth. And here is where I'm going to shape the body of the robot to be a little more round. So I'm going to do the same thing on the sides. Alright, next I'm going to pull out the ears. Turn my symmetry and then create the detail by extruding the inside part of the ear. Here I'm going to insert more edge loops for the sides to create more topology so I can shape the ears a little bit better. And then adjusting the other edges to kind of support the new shape. Overall, just keeping it nice and bubbly and round. Then pressing 3 to preview the mesh. I'm just going to move the ears out a little bit to give it more character, so it feels a little more interesting than just straight up. Here I'm adding the bottom portion of the character, that essentially the top is sort of like the head, and then the bottom is almost like his body. So here I use the scale to flatten the bottom. Just kind of pull it down a little bit. Again, I want to switch to the world view. So I turn off symmetry and then click on transformation to get a more even extrusion. Now I'm just grabbing the bottom part and making sure that I don't have any super sharp corners by just simply rounding them up using the bevel tool. Now I'm creating the side, almost like headphones antennas, to give the character a little more detail and something more fun. In addition to the ears, I thought headphones would be a cute little addition. Just using the X key, snapping it to the grid and scaling it. Here I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to make a connection, so I just went the simple way and just simply extruded the edges out. Next I'm trying to find the X-ray button so I can see through the mesh. This still looked kind of simple, so I'm going to add more detail to the side headphone. Using the scale, I'm just straightening my edges and moving them around to get ready to extrude my next shape. So I like the shape of this. It almost looked like some kind of almost like a speaker, like an old speaker, but I thought that was kind of cute. Now I'm just creating the antenna part that I'm going to stick into the headphone. Then just using the extrude and scale to sort of shape my antenna, and then insert a few more edges to give it some sort of an interesting detail on top. Using Shift and period on your keyboard, you can grow your selection. Just selecting the top part and making it a little larger. Using the X key, I'm just snapping it to the grid to the middle. In order to create the bend, I am going to need more edges. So I'm going to insert 9 edges so I have enough topology to create the bend for the antenna. Simply select the antenna and go to Deform, Nonlinear, Bend. And then you can use the curvature to choose your bend angle. If you select the line and hold down the J key, you can snap the line around to make sure that it's facing the correct way. And then you can move the line if you wish to control the bend. But that does create some strange effect. So I'm going to move the line back up because I really want my antenna to be evenly bend on the top and the bottom. So instead I just rotate it to make sure that the bend modifier stays in the center of my antenna. Once you're happy, you can select both of them and clear your history to disconnect the 3D geometry from the curve. Using the sphere size, I can make the polygons round and then create more detail in the end. combine the antenna and the headphone and attempt to mirror it across. But in order to do that, I need to make sure that the mirror axis is selected. Again, pressing 3, you can see what the preview of the smooth mesh would look like. Now I'm going to be creating the back jet that will be attached to the robot. I can select the bottom and then use the scale and soft select to kind of shape it into what I think a jet pack would look like. Now if I select the bottom edges, I can flatten them out again using the scale key. Then simply using the extrude to create the opening on the bottom of the jet, maybe for the fuel. Using the bevel to get rid of any sharp edges. Double clicking on the edge will select the loop, and then using the scale I can straighten them out so I can have more control over modeling. And overall it just looks nicer and more more appealing. Using the straight edges, I can now bevel them and create even more detail. Here I'm just trying to figure out what is the best place to place the jet, where it kind of makes sense, because I am aware of the fact that I have to mirror it to the other side. So I'm just simply positioning, trying to find the best place to do it. And I thought it makes more sense if I turn it. It just seems like it fits a little better. Just an artistic preference. Here I'm extruding a little extra detail to make it, give it like a metal ring. I thought maybe that would be enough to make the illusion of the jet being connected to the body, but then I realized if I wanted to rotate the jets, if I ever decide to animate this character, it'll probably be better to make a connection that makes a little more sense. Maybe it pivots on a cylinder instead of just simply being attached to the back. Because it would be pretty fun and simple to create a rotation and animate the character. I thought this made more sense. Here I'm looking to see if I'm happy with the cylinder, the way the cylinder is penetrating the body, and trying to see if I want to create even more detail, maybe make it even more interesting as far as the connection goes. So I decided to add another box. This way, when I pivot the jets, it will look like it's inside, maybe like a track almost. I wasn't happy with the fact that the box looked too simple and too boring, so I'm creating additional detail to make it look like it's really connected in some logical way. I'm just combining all three shapes together so I can mirror it to the other side. While keeping the model in the smooth preview, which is 3, you can actually use it to your advantage and create some interesting folds that normally you wouldn't see. So here you can see I'm pinching the geometry while being in the smooth mode, and I'm really liking how that's looking. I thought that was really interesting. Next, I'm going to create the eyes. Keep them very simple, just a box. Mirror to the other side, make sure it's nice and symmetrical. Here I'm going to detach the front panel to make it into a glass screen. So I'm going to use the detach polygons model button. Now if I go into isolation mode, I can focus on just the screen by itself and create a couple additional edges to make a better connection to the body. I center my pivot and position the screen to be just over the eyes. I'm going to clear my history and attempt to clean up my outliner so it's a little more organized. So here you see me go into the channel box layers. I'm making a new layer just for the screen so I can have more control. I'm going to take the rest of the mesh and combine it into one and call it butt, short for robot. I'm now left with two meshes. One is the body and the other one is the screen. Now if I press 3, I can see what that looks like. I'm now ready to assign some colors and materials to the robot, so I'm using the Arnold AI standard surface, which you can just simply right click on your mesh and choose AI standard surface. If you don't see that, you just need to go to assign new and make sure you select that. Then you go to presets, and in this situation I chose car paint, so I wanted nice reflective metallic material. I'm gonna go to Arnold and turn on my sky dome and then turn on the lights in the scene. Change the white default light to an HDR, which you can download from the internet. Then you can see the HDR environment map is being reflected in the car paint preset material, which looks really cool. I'm selecting the screen and I'm attempting to use the Arnold material to create the glass effect, but very shortly you will see me switching to a different material because Arnold material was not giving me the effect that I wanted. But here I was trying to make something with opacity and reflection, but again I wasn't happy with the outcome. I'm going to assign another Arnold material just for the eyes, initially making them black, but then I'm going to change that. I'm going to select the entire screen and also make it black. Again, just using the Arnold standard color. Simply selecting black and making the roughness kind of high so it's a little more reflective. Then going back to the eyes, and I'm going to switch them from black to blue. Alright, here I just went back to the screen material and I'm actually naming it AI screen. Still in the AI standard surface mode, but again I'm gonna switch it in a few minutes. Here you see me go to type and change it from AI standard to phone. And if I set the color to black and change the bump up the transparency and change the specular shading, the cosine power and specular color, it was actually giving me a much better screen effect that I was looking for. The AI standard was not giving it to me, at least not in the viewport. I really wanted to make it look nice in the viewport and in the Arnold render, so the foam material seemed to achieve that just for the reflective screen portion of this character. Then I just quickly applied the blue color to a couple more pieces. Like the ear and the headphone. I assigned the black to the cylinders. So just it carries over from the screen, so I have it in a couple different spots. Now here I could have spent a lot more time coloring, but I got to the point where I thought it was very clean, simple, and cute. So now I'm gonna just do a quick render and see what that looks like in Arnold. So I'm switching it to 2K image size, just bumping up the quality a little bit and changing the Sky Dome samples to 4 and doing a quick render. So here's the final result. Again, there's more that could be done. We can set up a rim light, we can add more details and spend more time adding more colors and things like that, but this is just a simple exercise. So I hope you enjoyed and learned something new, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.